Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, happy new year. Welcome to a brand new episode. Today I am talking to Esther Blum, who is based in the States. She's a dietitian, an author, an entrepreneur, and she has a lot of good stuff to share. We actually don't talk a lot about the food and the diet industry. We talk about taking action and being really clear, and it's the perfect episode for this time of year. I just wanted to let you know up front, there's a few crackles. When we recorded it, it was a really stormy day, so I just wanted to apologise for that. There's only a couple, so hopefully it won't affect your listening too much. And the second thing is there's a couple of swears, so if you've got little ears around, maybe wait until they've gone to bed or shove some headphones in or something like that. Another thing that I wanted to mention just at this stage is that I'm going to, for the next couple of months, be releasing only 2 episodes a week rather than 3. 3 has been wonderful to do, but there's lots of other stuff going on in my business, and I still need to really service and take care and support my clients. So I hope you understand. I'm going to be sharing lots of other resources and information over on my blog, and you can find that under content on my page, nickyraby.com, or over on Instagram at Nicky Raby. So there's going to be lots of things, videos and things like that, but there's just going to be 2 podcasts on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So I'm going to release my interview on the Tuesday, and then I'm going to release my mini episode on the Thursday. Anyway, that's enough housekeeping. I hope you enjoy this with Esther. I felt really invigorated afterwards, and I hope you like it too. Here it is. Esther, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Nikki. I'm super stoked to be here.
Oh, me too, me too. Would you mind just starting by saying what you do and what your business and life is all about? Just, a light question to get things moving.
Yeah, I'm an integrative dietitian and lifestyle coach, and I actually have a large percent of my clients who do business coaching with me. I've authored 4 books, and I have birthed quite a few businesses. So I do help people give birth to their books and to their businesses.
Fantastic. And how did this start for you? Because I guess at school that these sort of topics weren't necessarily promoted, certainly not in the UK. We weren't taught about coaching or taking care of ourselves or anything like that. So we definitely were in that generation of combining this career in a much more straightforward way. So how did it start for you?
Yeah, well, I really have to say it started with my grandfather. He was an ears, nose, and throat physician. He practiced medicine till he was 95 and a half. He did surgery till he was 80. He took my tonsils out when I was 6 or 7. I did surgery till he was 80, and then he saw patients 4 days a week till he was 95 and a half. And then the last 10 years of his life, so he died when he was 105 and a half, he was a painter full time. And he had my father. My father really wanted to be a chemist, and he wanted my father to be a doctor. And then he wanted me to be a doctor. I said, I really want to be a dietitian. And he said, you're never going to make any money. You're never going to be a success. And I thought, watch me. I was like, watch me. Challenge accepted. I am so going to prove you wrong. And
a woman after my own heart. Like,
oh
really?
My God.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I was like, take your ideas, take your job and restaff it, So it was great. So I really, I loved the science behind nutrition. I didn't go into it. A lot of people go into it because they have their own health issues they want to heal. I just truly like the academic requirements, but I didn't, because it's basically a pre-med degree minus the physics. So that to me was perfect. The hospital is a jealous mistress. I did not want to be a doctor.
Yeah. Well,
so I became a dietitian. Yeah.
Amazing. And how has nutrition become part of your life? How has it helped you? What are your clients, I guess, really looking for? What are they craving apart from chocolate?
Yeah, aside from chocolate and booze. The whole motto, when I really got started and wrote my first book, Eat, Drink, and Be Gorgeous, my whole motto was, your body may be a temple, but who says it can't be a nightclub? And, I feel like nutrition should be sexy and fun but really empowering and healing. And what my clients are looking for is a peaceful relationship between their mind and their body. And can I curse openly on this?
Yes, I love a curse.
They have really fucked up relationships with food and their body. And we've, internalized the external messages that we hear from family members, from lovers, from just people who have no business commenting our bodies. And we internalize them, and then we believe those horrible things that other people have told us. So I really help people get their mind straight. Obviously, we work on healing, and yes, I get women to lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. That's all great and successful. But the reality is, any diet will work for you if your head is on straight. And what most diets, ironically, don't teach you is how to get your head on straight.
Ooh, yeah. Yes. And that sense of just do the maths of eat this plus this. It's to do with the head stuff as well, because you're right. Like with coaching or anything, we are all carrying around the baggage of all the things that people have said to us over the years, or all of those feelings of being lined up in the ballet class or whatever it was, where you're going, oh, even at 9 years old, like, oh, my legs aren't as long as hers. Oh, that's annoying. Or, oh, and we're so just super aware of other people and carrying all of this around in a overflowing bag.
Yeah, it is. It's like a big bag of bricks, that guilt and shame, and you just have to put it down. My God, put it down. And, it doesn't matter. I have clients, in their mid-70s who I work with who are still crying over their childhood hurts. And you've got to make peace with that. And so I really help my clients release that, and we clean it out, and they cry, and we talk about it, and then it's done. It's done. And so, that's, I'm very honored and privileged that they share their lives with me and allow me to be the conduit to really help them work through, because they know they're ready to release it. They just need someone to unearth, what's been simmering right under the surface for a long time. So we do that. And I do that with my clients in their business. I help them unearth their ideas or their book ideas. I'm very clear. My other gift and privilege is that I can really see other people's businesses very quickly. So I help people kind of give a voice to what they've been thinking but haven't really executed on and taken action to do.
Yes. What do you think holds us back from taking action? Because I think sometimes we know what we should be doing next, but there isn't the momentum that perhaps is required.
It's two things. It's fear and it's imposter syndrome. Most people believe, and I used to think this too. I was like, who am I to be doing this stuff? Who am I to be charging this kind of money for these kinds of services? And to those people, I say, go and collect testimonials from people you have helped. And then you go read them on a rainy day when you're not feeling all that. And you have to remember, your own value and your worth. The fact is, if you have helped one single person on this planet, you have great value and tremendous worth. And you should really honor, one of my late mentors, the great Charles Poliquin, who recently passed. He was this gifted strength coach and brilliant man. And he always said, honor your time and your worth. And I think what people's can have their own way because they don't charge what they're worth. I yell at most of my clients for totally undercharging. I'm like, this is ridiculous. You've got to put food on the table and put your kids through school. Like, charge what you're worth. You're worth it, man. And the flip side of that psychology is, who are you to deprive people of the experience of investing in themselves?
Yes, because actually once you start investing in yourself and you start being open to saying, oh, actually I do need help, or I need somebody who's going to take me from here to here because I can't do it by myself, that becomes really not only addictive and fulfilling and exciting, but also it just quickens up the process because you're like, oh, you've done it already. Oh, brilliant. And you can see what I need to see in myself before I can.
Well, exactly. And the reality is, no investment you make. I mean, you are the only sure bet. Investing in yourself is the only sure bet in life. So whether, you think you're worth it or not, you really can't afford not to. Yes, we've all hired coaches that really maybe haven't taken us to where we've needed to go. But the reality is you still learned something and you still got something out of it. So, you are your own best investment. And the other thing, Nikki, I think that stops people is fear that it's not going to work. People, when we're working together or starting to work together, sometimes it's not often, but some people say, well, what if this doesn't work? And the reality is what I do works 100% of the time for people who apply it 100%. It's just that simple. That's the laws of the universe dictate that what you put, what you appreciates, what you put your effort towards grows. It's just that simple. We love to complicate things as humans, and there's nothing complicated about it. Just take the action. Don't sit and wait for motivation to come. Take the action first, and then the motivation will come.
Yes. And also I want to just touch on that brilliant comment that you made about investing in yourself and really batting for yourself, because the opposite is taught to us in the UK school system. It's all about waiting for the yes from the university, or hoping that boy will fall in love with you, or getting permission or getting the certificate. But actually, I've suddenly got to this point at nearly 40 where I'm like, I'm doing it anyway. So if I'm not the right flavor for you or you, don't worry, like, it's happening anyway. And just moving forward, gosh, that action taking is so crucial.
Yeah, it is. And people are frozen. They're like deer in the headlights, and they just get so overwhelmed. You just have to take one step. That's it. It's really, or make one phone call to a coach and let them guide you through. That's, we're never meant to do any of this alone. So get help whenever you can.
Absolutely. How do you wear your different hats throughout the week? Because there will be times where you're in book writing mode or you're in that serving mode. How do you switch from one to another? And you're a mum. How do you switch?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very, very organized. I moved my business online this year, and I work with an incredible tech team that helps me and my calendar. I have a virtual assistant to help keep me organized. But let's say you're starting out, and let's say you have many different hats. I recommend that you really organize your week ahead of time, that you stick to a structured schedule so that you give up a little freedom and flexibility, and what you gain is far more productivity. So for example, on Wednesdays, I do not see clients unless I've been traveling a lot, and then I have other days blocked out and I want to make sure I get my clients in for the week. Then I'll make an exception. But typically I don't see clients on Wednesdays. I use that as my day to do housekeeping, to do billing, to do outreach. I do a lot of outreach. And to catch up, maybe I'll schedule my Instagram post for the week or my social media post for the week. You really have to automate things and put a lot of systems in place, which is a lot more work on the front end, but then on the back end, your weeks run really smoothly so that I can look at my schedule for the day and say, I have a lot of control over my schedule. Mm. So I think a lot of us, we tend to say, well, let's say you have a business with a lot of clients. You want to make yourself as available as you can for your clients. And so you let them dominate your schedule. If you do that, you're never going to have time to do all the admin tasks that you need to do.
Right. And also it helps people to make a decision. If you say that you're only free on these 2 days, the likelihood is people are going to book because they know that you're busy, rather than being like, I can do anything because I'm just sitting at home, I'm not wearing a bra and I'm available. So yeah, it's kind of leading it from the front. Did you get to a point that sort of forced you into streamlining things and going on much more online? Did you reach burnout, or did something instigate the fact that you had to do that? Because I guess the reason that I'm asking is sometimes we feel like, well, for so many of my clients, that they're not quite ready to do the next step yet. Like, oh, once I get this amount of money in the bank, then that's when I'll start doing that, rather than just showing up as the woman that they need to be.
Right. Well, let me tell you, I had a lot less money on the bank when I started organizing my schedule than I do now. So there goes that theory. No, it was the opposite. It was not burnout that inspired me. It was extreme growth in a very short period of time.
And what did that look like? How did you know that you were... this sort of end up you coming off the call going, gosh, I'm doing really well. But what did that look like for you?
Well, I practice what I preach, and I too have a business coach, and I just, I had very specific goals to reach that I was not able to reach on my own. And I said, gee, I really have to figure this shit out. And so, I hired a coach who's really wonderful, and, we set very specific goals, and to reach them, I did what I teach my clients. I did a lot of speaking. I did a lot of outreach. I regularly email my email list, and my email list is small. I'm going to be very transparent because I think it's important. My email list right now is about 2,000 people, but I have a 20% open rate and have for years. And I used to have a very large email list, and I called it. I was like, I'm only allowing people to be on this list who are serious about being on it and who open my emails. And, it's fascinating to me because I will do a lot of, or I used to do a lot of summits, and people would insist that I had a minimum of 5,000. And I was like, the list doesn't matter. To me, your engagement matters. So for those of you who are starting out, it doesn't matter if your list size is 20. If those 20 people open your email every single week, those are 20 prospective clients.
Yes.
Let's say you're charging $2,000 a client or $1,000. That's $20,000, $40,000. Don't worry. Like, we're so caught up in, and this was me too, the comparison trap for a long time of like, oh, well, this person has 100,000 followers and this person, who the hell cares? Like, just start engaging people and your list will grow, and get out and speak and your list will grow.
Yes.
And do free webinars. Give free webinars, give free ebooks. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-page ebook that took you an hour. Just give value, add value. And I give a lot. I give free consultations, which anyone who is listening, by the way, is entitled to a free consultation with me. So we'll put the links in the show notes for that.
For sure.
But I give a tremendous amount of way because I believe in giving, and I give to charities regularly every month. I give a percentage of my income as it grows. And that's an important way. So all of those things are spiritually, emotionally, energetically, but also strategically aligned. So,
ooh, and I love that you're thinking with that such open vision of what do I want to do and what do I want my business to be able to do? Because I think sometimes we can still get stuck in like, I just want to get that client so I can buy some Louboutin shoes, or like sometimes people even go less than that when I have chats with people on social media. If I can just make the bills, and this happens so much for mums, especially because especially in those early few years, we're tired, we're irrational, or maybe just me, but we're just consumed by all the things that suddenly we start to play small. We say things to ourselves like, if I can just make the bills, I will be happy with that. But if anybody else who is freelance has ever done that lovely afternoon of chasing invoices or things like that, you feel like when you're chasing the money, you feel like you're on the back foot the whole time. So having that bigger vision, it's so key, and it will just keep opening more and more up for you.
It will. And you really, in order to have a bigger vision, you really, really have to be crystal clear on your why. So most people, right, they're chasing just the basics of the bills. You have to think way bigger, like bigger than you've ever thought in your life. So, for me, last year, my goal was, for example, I was like, I want to take 4 vacations a year. And my clients would want me to. You have to think about what your clients would want for you to. So I knew I wanted to take 4 vacations a year. That was done. I knew we had some house projects to do. Those are done. But my ultimate why is my family, my husband, my son. My husband he had a job local to us. It was about a 12-minute commute. We had an excellent quality of life. And his hedge fund closed, so he had to go back to commuting to New York City, which is 2 hours each way, door to door, from where we live. And I was like, no, screw that. My why is to afford us the opportunity where he doesn't have to have work in the city if he doesn't want to. He could work for me if he wanted to. So. And my goal is to help fund, college for my niece and nephew, fund college for my son, but also on a bigger level is to stop people from eating crap food all the time. That's my ultimate point of view, is to get people to stop eating shit and start cooking for themselves again. Right. So there's, you could, and that comes through across all my messaging. It's like, stop eating crap, stop eating crap, stop eating, in a nice way, in an educating and empowering way. But it's, so I think when you don't know your whys, when you don't have clarity, you won't succeed in your business. The universe rewards clarity. And so you have to spend time, rather than just chasing the next invoice and chasing the next client. When you're clear on your why, then getting your clients becomes fun. It becomes a game. It becomes a numbers. Like, okay, how many outreach calls do I have to make? How many no's do I have to get before I get a yes? Believe me, I have months where I have weeks of talking to people and doing sales calls and strategy sessions, and I get no's across the board. And I'm like, holy crap, what's going on? And then I will just keep plugging away, doing outreach every day. I do outreach every single day. And then it will
look like for you? Because if people are unsure what to do, because I think as well, with my acting career that I've had, that so many people wait for the phone to ring or for permission or the next thing, and they go, I don't know what to do in between. And my feeling is I don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do in between, because I feel like I'm always striving for the next thing. So what does outreach look like for you, and how can people do it effectively?
It's ridiculously simple. Again, people get really complicated. People are behind their computers all day, and they're doing stupid social media posts. Let me tell you how so little of my business comes from social media. I do it because it's social proof. Gives me social proof. So somebody can just, as a new client, they can go to my social media account and see what I'm made of. But my business may not be your business. Some businesses do get, I have many colleagues whose businesses do run on Instagram. Mine in particular doesn't. But, so I'm old school. I am very much a face-to-face person. I will get in my car and drive a 1-mile radius of a town near me and I will literally walk into every business and say, a gym, an Orange Theory. We have, I don't know if you have an Orange Theory there, an Equinox, or whatever gyms you have. I show up and I literally hand them my card and say, can I speak to the manager? I will go into spin studios, Pilates studios, bar studios. I will go into meta spas. I will go into Botox studios, cryotherapy. Do the 1 mile radius exercise where you walk into every single business that is remotely prospective for you. You bring a business card, you get the phone number of the person, and you call them and call them and call them and email until they say yes to a meeting. And you keep following up and following up and following up. And you keep track on a spreadsheet of who you've called on what days. And you just do it. That's a really simple way to do it. Another way.
And you become a real person then. This is the thing. Like, you can so often hide behind social media. I mean, I use it with my long-standing clients all the time. I use voice notes because I want them to know that I'm real, that this isn't like, I'm not just throwing out a couple of sentences in an email going, yeah, go on, woo, that it's bespoke and it's coming from a genuine place.
And so you're sending this out to your mailing list?
When I work with my clients, so if they have email support in between, I always try and do that in terms of a voice note and things like that, or encouragement, or sometimes if I have a international inquiry, I will respond on a voice note, and it just really helps so much because, again, there's so much opportunity to hide with online businesses that actually you do need to be a real person as well.
You do. And let me tell you, it's a lot more momentum in a shorter period of time.
Yes.
So another great way is to go to any local space. So when you're going to these places, right, you're obviously trying to drum up business, but you've got to offer first. So say, can I give a free talk? Let me tell you, I have given many, many, many free talks or talks where I've charged a nominal fee. Like I partner with a yoga instructor and we will give a 2-hour class and we will charge $47 US, and I will serve green drinks and healthy food. That will upsell me. Then I let everyone book free strategy sessions, and that will upsell me to a $2,500 client. Boom. So, and it's high touch. People are starved for human connection. Get the out from your computer screen and get in front of people. And if you think I can't do that, you shouldn't have a business. You need to go get a job somewhere else.
Yes. And you have to do it in a way that is going to feel really good for you. Because I know so many of my clients are introverts as well. But then you have to find the best mode of communication for you. For some people it's videos or podcasts or whatever. But you've got to allow people to get to know you. And therefore you've got to become visible as well.
Yeah, and listen, I know some of the biggest the biggest introverts in the business, and they are, multi-million-dollar businesses. They're total introverts, but they know that they also love to teach, and they also love to help people. And so getting in front of people is a necessary evil to growing your business and getting clients. And yeah, you can teach online. You can do, you can film the world on your iPhone now and do that too. I personally... I do webinars and I do online things, but I don't love them. I want to be in a live audience. That's what jazzes me up.
Yeah, me too. I love it. How did your business change when you became a mum? And did you have a new set of non-negotiables after you made that transition?
Yeah, well, it's still moving pieces every week.
You haven't got this motherhood all figured out? You're joking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the beginning, I worked, when my son was born, I only went back to work part-time instead of full-time. And then the other way I supplemented my income was by writing books. And then, as my son gets older, now he's 11, I've finally started to confidently travel more, and my husband has flexibility at work. So I can say to him, can you take this Monday off because I'm going to be away for 2 days, and then I hire sitters. I kind of cobble it together. But that's the other thing that I'm glad you brought up, because a lot of us, especially when we're moms. And if you're work from home like me, the household duties fall on you, the shopping, the cooking, the laundry. And so it's important that you actually figure out how to get help in place. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have a cleaning lady come in 1 or 2 times a month, every couple weeks. Maybe you get a sitter to come for 4 or 5 hours a week. Whatever it is, you can start small, but you've got to get help, because it's impossible to grow a business only working 3 hours a day when your toddler is in nursery school. You really can't grow a business that way. You've got to have more hours in the week, or you will have a business. It will just be really small. Now, some moms are really good at, I have also mom friends who have a live-in au pair. They go to their job during the day, then they're home with their kids from, 4 p.m. to 9 when their kids go to bed. And then they work from like 9 to 11 at night, and then they go to bed. That model does not work for me. So you have to really figure out what working hours work best for you. I have colleagues who will work at a day. They have an au pair, live in, and then they work during the day at their job, and they're done by 4 p.m. So they're home with their kids from 4 to 9, and then they go back to work from 9 to 11 at night. Wow. That doesn't work for me, but I could see clients from 6 a.m. I could start my day at 6 a.m. with clients, see clients 6 to 7, get my son to school 7 to 7:30, and then go back to seeing clients and straight through till 3:30 when he's home or whatever. So you've got to figure out. I found the biggest shift is just that I don't have like 8 hours straight to work. Now it's smaller, more concentrated pockets of work. And that's fine, because I'm actually more productive that way than having 8 long hours.
And I'm sure many people who are working a corporate job, by about 2 p.m, they're just watching YouTube. They're not actually working.
Exactly.
They don't need to, and it's all sort of sorted and wrapped up for the day. Or the amount of times, if I've ever, spoken at a corporate organisation, the amount of times it takes to get something sorted or confirm a meeting, it's so long. And I think working out how you work effectively as an entrepreneur has been the best thing. I guess, how did you get to know yourself in a way that now you know that you can coach better in the morning rather than nighttime? Did you have to trial and error it, or have you always had that sense of self and assurance?
No, it's honestly changed with my son's school schedule. I mean, I've always been a morning person. I've never been someone who could sleep in. But, when he was a toddler, for example, he went to school at 9:30. So I really couldn't start my day and he was little, and it was, I had to be with him, and then I would start my day later. Now he's in middle school and he leaves the house at 7:05, and I can say to him, get yourself out the door. I'm going in with a client. He's like, okay, Mom. So I've taught him to be very independent, and that means he cooks for himself. He gets himself packed up. I'm not saying it's perfect, but we try to really foster a very strong sense of independence. And, I'll be away this coming week at my business development training, and I said, we don't have a sitter from 6:15 in the morning when Daddy leaves. You're going to have to get yourself dressed, get your breakfast made, get your lunch made, and get out the door at 7:05. And he was like, okay, Mom. Oh, and that's it. I don't give him any other option. I say, there is no choice. We don't have a sitter. You've got to figure this out. And he's like, okay.
Yes, because in my early 20s, I've been out with men who should have definitely had that conversation with their mum, and they were literally looking, even this is like 21, 22, they're looking for a wife going, oh, could you just iron my shirt, or could you do this? And now having a 3-year-old boy myself, he knows how to use the washing machine. I mean, he's not up to like separating the whites from all the but he understands the process. He knows that it needs to be done. And I've really had to stop those patterns, because I watched my mum do everything, and she went back to work when I was 9, and she still continued to give this perfect housewife, but I'm sure behind closed doors she was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so exhausted, or I just don't have a window of time for me. And I think just changing that landscape and that dialogue is so needed if we're going to do what we need to do. I did an Instagram post about this last night, that so many people are saying, are you ready for Christmas? business and making it like a badge of honor if you're not. And it's like, if we're caught up in all of that drama of like, no, my presents aren't perfectly wrapped yet, we're keeping ourselves small from actually doing the good stuff that can affect our families, like having great businesses or doing things for our community.
Well, and that's such an awesome point, Nikki, too, because, okay, so you work from home, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's very easy to delay what really needs to get done in your business because you say, well, I have to get these things done and I have to get the laundry done. And no, you don't. Or you could throw the laundry in and then you throw it on the bed and you fold it at 10 at night when you're done with everything else. Like, you've really got to shift what's important and to the strategic ignorance of everything else. And if you want to build a business and you want a solid income, nothing gets done in your house until you have made 10 sales calls that day or you have taken 2 hours to do your networking. So another great tip is like when you get your scheduling up online, and this can just be on your iCalendar, by the way, or your whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you print out a daily calendar for yourself and you fill it all in. However you want to work, you have to make sure you have allocated at least 3 hours a week to outreach, to build lead generation. And I know I'm passionate about teaching other people this because this was always my big struggle, was lead generation. I didn't understand how to do it. And so if, let's say that you book a client or a client pops in your schedule on the days, on the time you thought you were going to do lead generation, you never delete that appointment. You just move it to a different time slot in your calendar. These are absolute non-negotiables. Now, the other thing with the work schedule is I now work 7 days a week, but I don't work every day, all day, 7 days a week. But on the weekends, I will spend an hour or two early in the morning while my boys are up. And maybe they're like on the TV or they're hanging out reading a book in their jammies, whatever they're doing. I say, bye, guys. See you in 2 hours. I'm going. And I go into my office, close the door, and do work. And then the rest of the weekend is mine to go grocery shopping, to go hiking, to do whatever I need to do. But it's, I think, also committing to, your work hours, knowing that if I don't get this done during the week, I'm definitely going to do it on the weekends.
Yes, and being really discerning about what those tasks actually look like, rather than doing a lot of, it's a very British word, but like faffing around of just kind of procrastinating, basically, doing things, or like I learned this when I was pregnant, the amount of times where I was like, if every single font and every single paragraph is aligned and looking beautiful on my website, that's going to allow me to have an online business, which was completely like so far from the truth. I needed to be like building passive income or courses or things like that. And I think so often we can get caught in the trap of, oh, well, I'll just do this because I don't feel like doing the other stuff. Whereas actually the stuff out of your comfort zone is the stuff that's going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really asking yourself if it's what you really want and you're really serious. That's why you've really got to know your why. And if you have to, write it down, put it on the wall, put it on your wall. Write it down. You remind yourself every day what your why is. If you are not clear on why you are getting yourself out of bed in the morning and what you're really doing this for, you will not be successful. You've got to just have it in front of your face, reminding you all the time. And if paying your bills every month and having savings in the bank and going on vacation every year are important to you, then you'll do it. And it's work. I'm not saying this is fun. It's called work. My fun, right? There's the busy and the job. The busy is the admin tasks and the outreach and the work that is 80% of your business. My joy, my job that I get to do that's a privilege is when I get to work with clients. And that's 20%. I mean, it's a lot. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, which is why I have, people I've had to hire help so that I can focus on content development versus all the admin tasks. Absolutely. But it takes time. And, and the other thing is, if you say, I can't afford help, I'm starting out, I'm new, go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, yes. Or go to, elance.com, or, I found so many great people to help me. They don't charge a lot. And it's just gotten me off the ground and taken time off my hands of doing things. So make a list of things that you need help with, admin tasks that can be taken off your hands.
Yeah,
throw a little money.
Kind of being really strategic with that and writing it, because again, we can shelf all these things like, well, I'll do that when I'm making, 7 figures, or I'll do that when that happens. But you've got to keep moving and shaking right now. I've got one final question which I'd love to ask you, which is, how do you hire help? Like, what are because again, helping my audience to really step into this way of leading and to be much more of their CEO of their own brand or business. What helps you to set really good boundaries so you actually see a return on your investment of growing your team?
Yeah. Honestly, my best referrals have always been through word of mouth. So go through your phone book, you can even ask your clients too. Yeah. Say, hey, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. Any of you want to apply? Or, that you can ask your list. Like, you can just be really transparent and say, I'm hiring. Who do you got? Set these are my requirements. You can look for interns. I have not been successful with that. I found that really tricky and frustrating and a waste of time.
I don't think you're the only one, I have to say.
So the best way that I've really built my team is through word of mouth, truly. So ask colleagues that you know and trust. And it was funny, I had been looking for a tech person, but and out of the blue, a colleague of mine reached out and said, hey, I want to interview you on my podcast. I said, great. So we're talking and we're hanging out after. And he said, I really want to connect you to my tech team because I think you would just love each other as humans. And I was like, great. And so that was that. And then we started talking and then we just started working together. It happened very organically. And through her, I found my business coach. So it all sort of came together because when you find really good people, they're going to want to connect you. So it's often saying to me, who do you know? This is what I need. And just
saying it out loud, making a request. It's so key because people can't read your minds. But yeah, the way that we're all so connected that somebody will know somebody who can help you. Where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I want to be, I have very solid 6-figure numbers in my head that I want to be reaching. But I really want to do very large and powerful keynote speakers, which I'll do that in the year. It's not even 5 years away. I really want to be, let me think even bigger because I'm giving too concrete. I mean, honestly, my big goal and passion has to always made an impact at the public health level. So my goal, for example, I have a nutrition school for families program I created. It's a 6-week online program, and I want to have sold 30,000 of those, like boom.
Wow. That's exciting. I think that's so key that you want to have that excitement as you're saying it rather than be like, yeah, I could do it.
No, it's already, there's nothing I've ever said I was going to do that didn't happen. So I don't even doubt it. It's never an if, it's just a when. And again, the clearer you get with your goals, you've got to be specific. You got to nail them down and not just like, oh, I want to have more clients. Mm-hmm. No, exactly how. Do you want 10? Do you want 20? Do you want 30? Do you want 50? Okay. How much money do you want to make? How much money? And then you divide that by what you need to earn every day to make that. So it's getting really clear. So I help all my clients do these kinds of things and their business and their
time to think about it in January. So if you're listening to this in February and you're already like, oh, I've kind of given up for the year, don't go back and really connect with it again.
Oh my God, it's never too late. You've got to just start where you're at and go. Don't sit and waste time thinking about coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's silly.
Absolutely. And if people want to come and find you and connect with you, where should they go?
They can go to Esther Blum, EstherBlum.com. And I'm going to send you the link, Nikki, to my free consultation. So you can have a free consultation with me. I work with clients overseas. I am in the US, but I have many clients in Luxembourg and Geneva and in the UK, so it's never a problem.
Wonderful. Great stuff. Well, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I feel really just like invigorated by this conversation, and I just love that you're bringing up all of these things about permission and up leveling, that we're still a little bit behind here in the UK. So and we're watching you over the sea and seeing what you're doing and feeling inspired about that as well. So please don't stop sharing your story, because it's really inspiring. And I know so many people, even if you're like listening and marching around the park with your baby that's not asleep, just keep coming back to this and share it with someone. I know that you'll get lots from it. So thank you so much, Esther. You've been wonderful.
Thank you, Nikki. I can't wait to broadcast this myself. This is going to be exciting. I really appreciate this.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. NickyRaby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability, or just to have a chat with me, go to NickyRaby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.